Even let's unmute this guy and welcome to Heart Center Marketing for April 15th. My name is Joey Ragona. Welcome to the show. You are who you are. Let me know in the chat if you're here as with a live or hashtag replay for watching the replay. I'm going to be drawing on my iPad. So for anybody in my Facebook group, that's usually where I monitor stuff. So I can't see any of the stuff going through if you're commenting in the Facebook group. Apologize for that. Anybody else, anywhere else in the world, you're watching on the YouTube or the LinkedIn or other Facebook channels, you can drop a message in here and I will see it, hopefully, if everything is working. Today is an exciting day for me because I get to draw out some stuff and let you see inside my brain on how things work, because I get a lot of questions about Unfunnel. What does it mean? How does it work? And it's so simple. It's really, really simple. But I mean, I'm a visual person. I don't know about you. Let me know visual in the chat if you are a visual person. So I figured I would just draw out, some of the ideas that we talk about in Alice, which is my main program where I'm helping people, rebuild or fix their failing business that they've tried with all these other funnels and things like that. So we want to simplify. Okay, so let's just get right into this. Let's talk about how we unfunnel. Let me go back to go to the iPad. And what I'm going to do here is draw out a very simple pattern here for you, because we're going to do this. We're going to unfunnel the opt-in email sequence. That's what we're going to do today. All right. And first, I'll do the traditional and standard funnel. And you probably know how this works. You have this little guy over here, which is your opt-in. Doesn't matter what it is. And then it goes into a few emails, E1 and email 2. And let's just do another couple. Email 3, right? Email 4. Good enough. Usually there's, 5, 6, 7 of them. And so the opt-in here, what happens is these guys are all sales emails, basically. Sales. Okay, so this is the traditional funnel. And I'm not a big fan of this. I don't, when you want to unfunnel, what we're doing here, people are thinking that it's like, well, we're not doing any kind of automation or there's no opt-in or things like that. But that's not the truth. The truth is that we're removing the complexity. We're removing the gates. We're removing all of the pressure, because all of this here, to me, is pressure. It's also expectations. It's expectations because, hey, you know what? You opted in for my thing, right? So I expect you to buy something, and it's all pressure. Thanks for the love, by the way. I don't know who it is. Unfortunately, if you're in the Facebook group, I can't see you commenting or anything. If anywhere else, let me know in the comment. Thank you for the love and support on this one. This is cool. So, I mean, it's not cool because you got all these, these pressure emails. And so what does an unfunnel look like? Well, it's nothing magical. It's really about rethinking how you want to approach this. All right. So let me do my fancy. Let's see if I can just grab all of this and copy that so I can move down here and paste it. And we're going to play around with it a little bit. All right. So what I want to do here is give me my eraser. Let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of these. And let's go to here. Yeah, let's erase that. Technology, you gotta love it, right? You just gotta love it. All right, cool. Now, I want to talk about the unfunnel method or the advantage? You see, now when people are asking me about the Unfunnel or when I'm teaching an Atlas and they're like, well, I built all of this stuff out. Like, do I got to rip all this stuff down? What do I got to do? It's not about ripping anything down. It's just that there may be some tweaks that we can do to your automation that's already there. If you've been taught somewhere else, here's what happens. You got to put in the emails. You got to go to landing pages or to sales pages and put countdown timers and all this stuff. It's just a couple of tweaks. I've had many, many Atlas clients just go into their emails and tweak a couple of little things. Basically, they're removing the stuff, which is what I'm going to show you right now. Okay. So that's all you have to do. And if you're building from scratch, this is going to be even easier. So let's say we still got 4 emails. We're still going to, send out 4 emails, let's say, but these are all going to be value emails. This is value. And I'm going to dig into a little bit deeper for what I mean by value, because I see that all the time, do value. Hey, Collie, good to see you. Thanks for being here. Having internet challenges, so it might be my internet because I forgot to turn it onto the, it's on Wi-Fi right now, so maybe that's why the problem is with the internet. I usually have it on hardwired. Anyway, okay, so this is value. Yeah, you can see that. Cool. Value and value. Okay. In here, there is no pressure selling. Now, for those of you watching, you might be thinking, okay, well, Joey, I've been, told about like people who are ready to buy. What do we do with those people? Are we ignoring them? What happens? All that. I've got the answer for you. Okay. This means that we're not pressure selling. We're not putting it in the bodies of the emails. We're not putting things in where it says, hey, you got to go over here and buy this because XYZ. It's just value. And so let me first of all talk about the value, and then I'll talk about, well, how do you deal with people who are ready to buy? Like, these are dream clients who have come onto your list, or yeah, it's on the list because it's an email, obviously. Duh, Joey. So it's within the email list. And what do you do with those people who are absolutely ready to buy, because you don't want to push them away either? There's a cool way of doing this. So first, let's talk about the value, right? So the value, let's say, I don't know, like what this opt-in could be here. This guy right here. This is an opt-in of some kind. Make this pure value, right? And so you want these other emails to be an extension, right, of the opt-in. So if it was a video of, I don't know, some tips or something, or I don't know, whatever it is, you want to expand on the promise of the opt-in. Okay? Expand. That's what these emails are all about. Okay? They are an expansion. So, hey, you saw this, or I'm giving you this, these tips, this ebook, this video, or whatever, and your job is to expand on that during the emails. It's like, hey, did you catch, chapter number 2 where I talked about this? Well, this is what I'm talking about. So let's say, for example, I gave an ebook on the Unfunnel Advantage, okay? And so I send out the ebook and you get that. And then I go into deeper understanding, or another way of describing it, even if it's described in the ebook itself. I would say, remember I was talking about how the difference of an unfunnel is? Well, here's another example of this. So I'm extending the value of it so people get more value from the actual opt-in. A lot of times, I've seen so many people, and I've been guilty of this, by the way. I'm not pointing any fingers, but so many people just send out an opt-in that is, first of all, not really of a lot of value, but even if it was massive, massive value, they just expect, well, now I've given you this, let's buy. Well, my interpretation, this is where the unfunnel is. Like, I want you to hear this, is I'm unfunneling. I'm not saying I'm going to put you through a cattle chute now so that you get to the end of this, and on Friday or whatever it is you need to buy, or these things are going away. That's not what I'm saying. I don't want to do that. I want to give you more value. I want to prove that the thing you opted in for was value first of all, but then I'm going to give you more value on top of that. And here's the big difference, guys. If you do this, you're going to stand out because pretty much everybody in the world knows what you're going to do. What's going to happen? I'm going to opt into this thing. Now I'm going to get some emails. Well, if you just come out of the chute a little bit different, you're going to stand out right away. They're expecting you to sell them when you don't. And that's a huge part of what unfunneling means. So now we've got this no pressure sales happening all the way through. And then I want to talk now to the what happens if, okay? Well, what about immediate buyers? Because sometimes you get somebody who just wants to work with you. And if you don't have an offer, then they don't know how to work with you. So you do have to have an offer of some kind. Now, the way you do this is with soft offers. Soft offers. And these are in the PS of the email. So this is a take on Dean Jackson's super signature, whatever that's called. I think he calls it super signature. And this is basically a PS where you have defining offer statements that ignite conversation. Okay, this is huge. You don't want to have links to things where it's like, hey, in my case, it might be Atlas, right? So that's really the only thing I have, or Academy. So it might be like, hey, if you need coaching every single week, or you want to grow your business to $100,000, come and join Atlas, or come and join Academy with this link to an Academy sales page and all that kind of stuff. I don't do that. I want to have a conversation with you. So, and you don't have to follow this. You could go to a sales page. Doesn't matter, it doesn't matter to me. I'm just sharing with you what I do and how I unfunnel it, because that's what everybody does. Everybody would just put a link in there and go, okay, let the sales page do the work. I built all this thing out, and every single thing that you see everybody else doing is where you have an opportunity to unfunnel. By the way, this is only part one. So if you're watching this, I'm going to do another one next week or maybe the week after. I can't remember if I have somebody next week on as a guest, but I'm going to continue doing these ideas. So part two of this is another way of unfunneling. Back to this, Joey. ADD in place, right? So every opportunity that you have to see what would everybody else do here, they would send a link to a sales page or whatever. So then I unfunnel it. I just say, no, I'm not going to do that. What's the alternative in this? And usually, this is the part a lot of people don't like, is you're back involved in the situation, right? And if you have your business running and you have all the other parts of your business really cool, this is where your genius steps in. And a lot of the reasons why this doesn't work for a lot of people is because they don't have all the other components of their business in place: productivities, SOPs, teams, and all these other things that I can go on another tangent about that, right? So don't look at what normal people do and then do the opposite of that. In this case, all you want to do is have a defining, let me go back to the iPad. You want to have a defining right here. Let's go with yellow this time. All right. A defining offer statement that ignites conversation, which is one sentence, right? Hey, if you are struggling with this, or you need help with this, send me an email with the word this or that, and let's have a conversation about that. So you might have one or maybe two, maybe even three different ways of one sentence definers of, yes, I'm interested in doing that with you. How does that work, Joey? Follow? So it's a very subtle thing in the email, on the bottom of the email. And that is how you offer somebody who is like ready to go right away to get into conversation, rather than putting things there that they just click on and have their own adventure. Okay, you want to open up conversation. That's the number one thing. Did I get everything there? I think I got everything there. Yeah. Okay. And then what happens is at the end of your email sequence right here, let's go with this color. So email number 4, it goes into actually what's called a transition email. Transition email. And this email, boom, it talks about what's next. Okay. And the what's next email is where you say to them, look, I've given you 4 emails. And if this is usually when this is happening, it's happening every day, every 2 days or something like that. And I don't know about you, but I'm not a big fan of sending emails out every single day. I've been in those places where they say you got to send emails out every day with an offer. And I'm like, that ain't me. Okay. That's just not me. I'm not a big fan of that. So, but when you're coming into my world, I'm usually sending you an email like every day for 5 days or something like that. And I'm always mentioning that this is not a regular thing for me. So you're going to get an email every day, like at the beginning, actually back here, right? So back here, I'm saying, hey, this is what's going to happen, right? And then I send out the emails. And then at the end of that, like I said, when you get to the end and you get into this transition email right here, let me go with pink. The transition email, that didn't work out. That didn't work. That sucks. Let's go back to a different color. Let's go back to yellow. Okay, this transition email, right? Then tells them what's going to happen next, because it's like, hey, I just sent you 5 days worth of emails, or 4 days worth of emails. That's normally not what I do. What's going to happen is I'm going to send you into my regular email list now, and I'm going to probably connect with you once or twice a week and just send you some more value. And that's what it is. That's what unfunneling really is. So I do that and send, now they're on my regular newsletter type of email list where they're getting just information constantly. And then there's offers maybe throughout that. Sometimes that's a whole other discussion. That's where Atlas comes into play. How do we do that? How do we now nurture that list and get them onto, buying from us? But there's one piece that I've left out on purpose here, but I'm going to talk about it right now, because in the transition email is when you can do a bigger offer. Okay. Let's go down to, that's not too bad. Usually my drawings are like really, really really scratch all over the place. So this one here, the what's next, talks about the bigger offer. So this is where you can have a little bit more details. More details. You may want to have a link, optional to sales page, but I don't do that. Just to let you know. So I'm putting it out there, but you can't, you can do whatever you want, right? But I'm telling you that I don't do that, but you could have it there. But the more details is where everything changes, because then you can say, I've talked about this, and this is where, in my case, it would be Atlas or Academy. Say, this is where my Atlas comes in, and it helps you do all of these other things. If you want to talk more about that, again, I'm always asking for someone to connect with me. Send me an email or send me a reply, but then I've earned the right or earned their trust. I feel, let me know in the comments if you disagree with this, but I believe that I've earned more trust by giving them massive value without any sales pitch in that thing, right? So this is where, so a lot of the emails that are being sent out right away, they're starting their sales pitch right away from the first emails. And I'm not doing that. I'm waiting. And sometimes I don't even do that. Sometimes at the end of that sequence, let me go back to my iPad here. Like at the end of this sequence, right? I may not offer anything. It'll still be the soft offers at the bottom. If you want this, whatever, right? And it just depends on what they're opting in for. So that's what an unfunnel really is. It's removing all of the sales pieces so that you're making them feel comfortable and that they're in charge of it all. The worst thing that can happen in these funnels that are built out is that people are forcing themselves and forcing their programs onto people, and it's the wrong time. I've already dealt with if you saw that. The transition email, go back to this, right? The transition email is the one where you can talk a little bit more about an offer, but that's where still have no expectation there. This is just for somebody who is like, man, I'm ready to go. Please let me know how to pay you. Those are very rare. They're very nice. I've had a few of them, but they don't happen all the time. The problem is so many people are expecting to make a sale, and this is not the time to make a sale because we're in the Unfunnel. We're trying to show people that, look, I care about you and I really want to give you more value. Tell me what you need and I will send you more value. So you send them those value emails, and then you're telling them, I'm going to send you even more value after this. You're going to be on my regular email list. So that's it. I mean, if there was questions coming through, I could answer the questions about it, but I don't see them coming in from the Facebook group, so I apologize. But there you go. That's how you unfunnel a regular standard opt-in to email sequence. Hopefully you like this. Let me know in the replay, or hit me with hashtag replay, or live. And if it's after that and you don't have it, and you have a question, please put it in there in the comments and I will come back and answer. Have yourself an amazing, amazing night.